Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, be sure and tap on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. And I'd also like to say thank you to the people who've been tapping on the like button. We appreciate that. Okay, yesterday I took the wheel off of this bike and I took it over to the shop and put a new tire on it, and today I want to put the wheel back on it. Now, I did pull the brake drum off, look at the brake, everything was in good shape, so there was nothing really to show any kind of stuff that I needed to do there. We've actually done a video on brakes on this thing before. So, what we're going to do is just put this wheel back on. I've got it pretty well cleaned up. I want to let the air out of it in case I need to squeeze it a little bit to get it in place. And so that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll put it on. Take the valve core out. And that way the air will be out of this thing and I can put it on with hopefully a little less effort. It's kind of hard this time of year because the tire is so stiff, it's a little hard to squeeze. Summertime, I go lay a tire outside before I mount it and get it all softened up. But here goes. It's going, little at a time. And there it is. All right. Now we'll get it just kind of roll up in there. I think maybe I'll lower it a little bit. And that seemed to work a little. Like I said, this tire doesn't want to squash very much. You know, I could take this grab handle loose, but I'd rather not. Let's see here. Lower it just a little more. And I think I'm hung up on something. Can't see quite what it is. No, I'm not. Let it down a little more. There we go. And I do believe we've got it. All right, popped right onto the drum. Let's see if I can get in there and see that. I got her caught up on the tire now. I'm on the fender. Well, we're going to have to back it out now. And there it is. What I did was I loosened up the sleeve in the axle, and that way I got it to clear up very well. We can see now that it's clearing the fender with no difficulty. Whoa, that was exciting. And I keep knocking stuff off the lift here. Okay, let's see about getting that tire Getting that wheel lined up. On the drum. Maybe we'll just put the axle through it for a minute without the spacer or anything, just to get it lined up a little bit. That's better. Now let me get a bar in there. Make sure that nothing is jammed up here. There it is. Okay, it's all loosened up. And there is little jiggle here, little jiggle there, and we'll get it lined up here in a second. Right about there. Got it! It's just a matter of jiggling it and getting the angle of the dangle right. So I think what we'll do now is get a couple of these lug bolts going in there, and then we'll pull the axle and put it in again, which should be pretty easy. Anyway, while I get these lug bolts started, I could probably talk about something else. Like the fact that cameraman Mike's got to actually go to work today, so he's not going to be able to get that generator done for Elsie. But as soon as he gets some time and gets that generator done, we'll get back to work on Elsie, that little Panhead. And let's see, I'm waiting for a new coil to come in. I don't know if it's going to make it before New Year's or not. Now those lug bolts don't always slide through the hole like they're supposed to. That's because this is a reproduction wheel, and things aren't always exactly what you want. Okay, that's good enough to pull that axle, get it lubed up and in here again. Let's see. See if we can get that axle knocked out of there. I think that'll do it. Now we're going to pull this axle out. Put this spacer back into the wheel. There it is. Okay. Now we want to get some grease on this axle. Let me get that axle lubed up before I put it in there. Whoops. That's just regular bearing grease. I know a lot of people like to use anti-seize on axles, and I think that's fine too. I usually just use plain old bearing grease. Okay, now we need to get this spacer right in here where it belongs. And that shouldn't be too difficult. A little hard for me to see in here today for some reason. There it is. There it is. It's going to give me a little bit of grief to get it shoved in there, right? Okay, I don't know exactly what I need to do here, but it's going to go. There we go. Now, if I can get that axle started in there. And there it is. All righty. Yeah, we'll get this thing in here. Get this axle in here the way it needs to go. All right, we'll get this axle here. Yeah, you got to remember this axle has a couple of flats on it. And we'll need to get those flats into the axle plate of the frame. There we go. So if I do that like that, and I give it a little lift here, I think it's almost in there. Yep, it is in there. All right. Okay, now the chain is still in exactly the same adjustment it was in. So we can tighten up that sleeve. That's through the frame. You know a lot of people are probably watching this and saying, Mike, what are the torque specs? This frame is out of the 1940s, and I don't recall Harley ever publishing torque specs on axle nuts and things like that. You know, these are people, it's back when this was an agricultural country, and everybody knew how to tighten things. That's good and tight. And we'll put this axle nut on here with its little lock plate. As I recall, it takes a 7/8 wrench, which I just used on the axle on the other end. And now everybody's going to yell at me if I don't use the box end of the wrench. But it is an axle nut, so I probably should. And I'd say that's about 55 pounds there. It'd be interesting to see, but anyway, it is. And that looks just dandy. So we'll get the rest of these nuts in here, or these lug bolts. And it's all back together. Again, have to put these bolts through like that. All right, there's just two left, and that's basically it. I don't think we have much more to show here. I'm putting a wheel on. But here it is. I'm going to have to clean this bike up, but I think there's some kind of a show coming up in January that I was supposed to ride her to. I know January's coming up. I don't know about that show. But I know we went to it last year. See, I keep wanting to slide that through there because that's the way I've always done them. But this dust cover on this hub hangs out into the holes for the lug bolts. All right. That's number 5, so I got to go around them all now. Make sure that they're good and tight. There's 1, and I'm going to skip each one. Here's 2. That sounds like somebody's phone. I'm not sure whose, but it's in my pocket, so it must be mine. There, that's better. No, it's still going. 3. Well, I'm a little flustered today, so that's just the way it is. And whoever it was, I'll call him back. There's 4 of those lug bolts. There is number 5. And just to make sure, I usually go to number 6, knowing there is no number 6. Yep, that is tight. All right, that's it. I can put the valve core back in there. I can put air in this tire. I don't think anyone needs to see me tie my saddlebags down again and put a bolt in that tail light. But there it is. And here's hoping we can get back on Elsie before New Year's. But I'm not being real, I'm not expecting it. So we'll probably be after New Year's with our next video. So for everyone that I can't see from here, Happy New Year. I wish everyone a wonderful, prosperous, healthy New Year. A happy one, all the good stuff I can think of. And we may not talk to you till New Year's. There we go, with a thumbs up from cameraman Mike. So anyway, we'll see you probably after New Year's. And between now and then, maybe I'll see you out on the road.